All right. So L'Jarius Sneed, as far as injuries go, he had the concussion, and then Kadarius Toney's ankle, he tweaked that. Juju Schuster, that knee acted up on him from the week, and then McCole Hardman gave it his best, and as did all these guys. I mean, tribute to the work ethic. Pat out there doing his thing. Kelsey, who missed the last day of practice, all that stuff. So I'm proud of them for everything they've done. Great for the city. Our fans were unbelievable. Bucker, I mean, what a redemption story. He comes back and after a high ankle sprain has kind of moved his season a different direction than he wanted for a period there, and he came back and just knocked it out. Sky Moore, who had the drops early, was called on to go out there and return, and he did a great job with what ended up sealing MVS. Had a nice day. As did all the receivers. We only had 3 of them, so by the end, so they all did nice. Our young secondary, 2 of them got interceptions, and 6 helped cause the interception for 23. So I mean, it was a great deal. Chris Jones had an unbelievable game, along with Frank Clark. I mean, constantly in the backfield, and just busted their tail. I mean, what a performance they had. So, and I mean, I could keep going. I'm sure I'm missing people here, but I'm proud of all of them, man. They did a great job. So, anyways, with that, time's yours.
You didn't mention Patrick Mahomes. His gritty performance coming off a week from the high ankle sprain. How impressive was his performance to you?
I think I did. You just didn't hear me. I mean, we can't replay it, right? Like the commercial. Can't do that. Herbie, doggone it. Yeah, so, but listen, it was pure grit, he and Kels. But for Pat to do what he did and then to have that run at the end, I mean, I can't say enough. He is the MVP in my eyes.
Andy, a lot of conversation from Cincinnati this week. Do you feel that with something under your guys? Not that they would need something for an AFC championship, but do you think that added something?
Yeah, listen, our guys did a great job of not going that direction. Their mayor said it all, and so I'm glad our mayor just did what he did, and some people heard it.
Andy, you alluded to this a little bit, but there was one sequence where Patrick looked like he aggravated the ankle a little bit. McCole got hurt. Juju had just come off. You guys turned that into a touchdown drive. Is that a little bit of a inflection point in the game for you to have to show that grit then?
Yeah, I would say yes. I mean, first of all, that's a great football team, and they've done a heck of a job there turning that thing around. That quarterback is a heck of a player. So, but for our guys to grit up like that, it was beautiful thing to do, and do it at home.
Was there a point where you knew this week that not only was Pat going to play, but he was going to play well as well?
Well, he gave me no opportunity to not think that he wasn't going to play. I mean, he never missed a snap, and I just our players, our team, coaches, we're all lucky to have him in that position, and the mindset, that whole mindset. So it carries over to everybody, and there was no denying that he was. I mean, there's no question he was going to play. So.
Was there a moment where you maybe put him on the practice field that led you to believe he was going to be okay tonight? Not just play.
Yeah, well, I mean, he went out and practiced, yeah. So, I mean, he pushed off of that thing, and, he did all the stuff. And he lived in the training room. Rick Burkholder and Julie, I mean, the job that they did with him of getting him ready and him spending all the time, I'm sure he went home and his wife was probably working on it too. So, I mean, it was everybody taking concern for him.
You mentioned some of the redemption with Harrison, with Sky. What's it mean for you as a coach to see some guys that have gone through struggles in the season or a game, wherever they be, to see them?
Yeah, no, it's great. I mean, the perseverance, I mean, that's important in this game. The toughness, mental toughness is such a big part of this game. And to get to this level here, I mean, this is pretty pretty spectacular to be able to go back, and quite an honor. And the Hunts gave us an opportunity to do that, which is so important. And give the coaches an opportunity, give Mark and Veach an opportunity, myself. So, and all the players, they put us in a position where we can go succeed, and that's and all the guys did a great job. Brett with the guys that played tonight. I mean, what a tribute to him and his staff for all the great things that they've done with these players, young guys. I mean, who would have thought this at the beginning of the year, right? I mean, I'm sure you all wrote about it somewhere along the line that we had a lot of new faces, and for everybody to come together like that's satisfying as a coach.
Coach,
One, two, three, four.
Coach, knowing you're just going to want to focus on the game the next 2 weeks, but this is pretty special getting to play the old franchise. What does that mean to you as you look back at your time there as well?
Yeah, I had a great time there. So 14 years, a long time, huh? And I'm happy for them. I'm happy for the city. They're passionate. They love football. I mean, I can't wait till Kansas City and Philly clash. It's going to be awesome, man. I mean, what a great Super Bowl it'll be.
Coach, every team is different. Every year is different. How do your emotions compare this year going into the Super Bowl compared to other periods?
Yeah, being out there was unbelievable. There's nothing like winning the championship at home. I mean, that's just a special feeling. And not that the Super Bowl's not. I don't want to say that. That's a pretty good feeling too. But to be at home and do it, it's unbelievable. So I'm riding a wave right now, as you guys are, and I'll calm down after I leave here.
Coach, you guys struggled to try to get to Burrow the last couple of games. What was working so well for you guys early to be able to get to him?
Yeah, so I mentioned this to Dan after the game, and what the players were talking about the game plan, the defensive players, and how they loved it, and they just thought it was going to work and just be. They couldn't wait to get out there, and I mean I kept hearing that over and over. And that listen, Spags did a heck of a job with it. I mean, a phenomenal job with it. And his coaches and the players executed it. I mean, it was fun to watch. I have a bird's eye view of it, and they were rolling. Yeah.
Last one by.
Andy, just obviously a lot of subplots to the Eagles, but I wonder what you make of the Kelsey versus Kelsey.
No, but I've vested time in both those two, so I feel like I'm part of the family.
Thank you.
Start with congratulations to Andy, our coaching staff, the players on a tremendous performance tonight. Obviously, one of the storylines of this evening was the adversity that we overcame. In the course of any season, you're always going to face adversity, and I really feel like during this past week, we almost faced a season's worth of adversity, starting with Patrick's ankle injury last week and Travis's back tightening up on him on Friday, and then, of course, all the injuries tonight, particularly at the receiver position. But Andy and the guys did a tremendous job, and were able to overcome it and get it done. I also want to mention the fans tonight. They were incredible. I had multiple people mention to me what a great atmosphere this was, how loud it was, the energy level. Of course, that's always true of any game here at GEHA Field at Arrowhead, but I thought it was particularly true tonight, and getting to celebrate winning the Lamar Hunt Trophy with our fans is very, very special for our family and the entire organization. With that, I'll open it up.
Our third time going back to the Super Bowl in the past 4 seasons. I mean, as an order, does it get any better than this?
I don't know that it gets better, but we do know not to take it for granted. One of the things about going 50 years between Super Bowls is it teaches you how much to appreciate it. Certainly over the last 5 years, we've been blessed to be in 5 straight AFC championship games, all here at home. And the 3 Super Bowls that you mentioned, it's special, but we're not going to take it for granted. And, hopefully we'll get out there and try to claim another Lombardi.
Clark, given that you traded Tyreek Hill back this spring, and you had a bunch of young guys playing for you on defense, what were your expectations for this season, say, over the summer?
Well, internally, we had high expectations, understanding the challenge of playing with a bunch of young players. If you listen to much of the national media, you would have thought that we had no chance. I remember, Andy commenting in response to a question that, we're not going to be too bad ourselves because people were talking about the other teams in the AFC West. Obviously, really the credit goes to Andy and the coaching staff for getting those young players ready to play. And, of course, tonight we had numerous young players step up, some who haven't played very much over the course of the season. They had an opportunity tonight, and they really shined.
Just having seen Patrick as much as you have over these last few years, does this game stand on its own in some way for what he had to do that? And I wonder also what you thought of the run that kind of, in the crucible there was pretty critical.
Yeah, Andy and I were talking about Patrick earlier in the week, and I mentioned to him that the great ones always find a way to get it done, particularly when they're facing adversity. And Patrick certainly showed that tonight. Tremendous performance all the way around. Clearly his ankle didn't feel very good in the fourth quarter, and the game couldn't have had a better finishing sequence than having Patrick, make that run, get the penalty, put us in field goal position that ultimately led to the win. Watching the play, I was like, well, Superman put his cape on and got it done for us. And, just tremendous performance all the way around by Patrick.
Cart, this game almost was played in Atlanta, and there's been a lot of conversation about perhaps the NFL will take the conference championships to neutral sites. I know you got to be a little biased about it, but that being said, what are your thoughts on that possibility?
Yeah, well, we were certainly ready to play the game at a neutral site if that's the way it turned out. We understood the unusual sequence at the end of the season in terms of the Buffalo-Cincy game not being able to be completed. I think Andy said it best that, we'd be happy to play the game in a McDonald's parking lot, and that was true. Andy's teams are just as good on the road typically as they are at home. So it wasn't something that we shied away from. On the other hand, we were very excited to get to play in front of our great fans. One of the things that I've learned over the last 5 years is how special these championship games are when you get to play them at home and you get to celebrate with your fans. And I know that my dad was a proponent at times of taking the AFC and NFC championship games to neutral sites. But I think based on our experience, I think it's best to give the team that earns that right the chance to play the game at home.
All right, thank you, Corey.
Expect to be able to run very much just from the way it felt, but the training staff, Julie, did a great job of getting me enough range and mobility that I was able to protect myself. And at the end of the game there, I had to run to get the first down, and it got us into field goal range. So credit to them, and then just trying to stay on it, and we have 2 more weeks, so we got to keep doing it.
Is there a point, though, you knew, you just sort of felt, hey, I'm going to get some things done here?
Yeah, I tried to a couple times in the game where I was trying to get through spots that I usually could get through, and you could see that I didn't have that burst that I usually have. So I got the ball out of my hands quickly. I think you saw that, and I threw probably a few more checkdowns than I usually would throw, and relied on my teammates to make the plays happen, and that's what they did.
Patrick, there were a couple of
Patrick, when you on the play you're running left was the third down pass from the goal.
Yeah, it was. I think y'all saw it was. I said the stopping was going to be the hardest part, and obviously throwing it across your body cue to plant that right leg and twist across it to throw. So that definitely didn't feel good. I think the worst one was when I fumbled. I tried to pick it up, and that was probably the worst tweak that I had during the game. But like I said, they got me close as they could to 100%, and then I just battled through, and I'll have a few more weeks to get it ready.
That fumble, you just kind of lost the handle.
Yeah, it wasn't. I was thinking that it was wide open. I was gonna throw it to Marquez. They blitzed, and so he was gonna be wide open, and just slipped right out of my hand. And obviously, I tried to pick it up, and wasn't able to do that. So, luckily, it didn't cost us the game because it was a big moment in the game, and our defense stepped up and got some stops for us there at the end.
Patrick, you guys are really good at not letting the trash talk get back to the podium. Travis made it obvious that he had heard some of that. Just how inside the locker room is motivating between you guys to kind of gear up for this type of matchup?
Yeah, I think guys were probably the most pumped up I'd seen them going into a football game. A lot of trash talk coming from a lot of different places. I think no one picked us to win. If so, it was like 5% of people. And we think we've built up enough respect to have a chance to go out and win every game. So whenever you feel like you're the underdog, when you're playing at Arrowhead Stadium, it gets guys ready to go.
What was it in particular they said? Was it the Burrowhead stuff?
Yeah, I mean, you got Burrowhead. You said, I mean, they beat us last time. They were talking about we got to play them. There was a lot of stuff. I mean, the mayor came at me, man. I mean, I understand he's the mayor of Cincinnati, so he has to think about something. But I mean, it's something that you just got to play the football game and then let your play do the talking.
Patrick, when tweaking it earlier, when you made that run, does that get back in your mind at all? Like, I don't know if I can push off this way, I got to make this run, or how did you process that as you went into that run?
Throughout the game, I think I just tried to do whatever I could to win. And obviously there was times where you could see that it wouldn't let me do what I wanted to, but I was able to do enough in that last play to get the first down and get myself out of bounds and try to give Harrison a chance to win. And obviously we got the flag when he pushed me pretty late there. Yeah, I was just trying to – the defense had gotten stops for us like the last 2 drives, and we had opportunities to get in field goal range, and we didn't. So I knew I was going to do whatever I could to get us in the field goal range, and then Harrison made the kick.
Just the trash talk aside, how significant was it to beat this team the last couple of years ago?
Yeah, I mean, the way we've played the last couple of games, I mean, you saw it was very similar to these last games where we get ahead and they come back and beat us, and that's a credit to them, man. They had a great team and great leaders over there. We felt like we needed to get this win. We wanted to play this team, and we got them at Arrowhead Stadium, and we were able to finish the job this time. And, I mean, the job's not finished for us. I mean, we got a chance to go up against a great football team in Philadelphia Eagles. And so we had to enjoy this for about a day and then get right back to it because I've been in the Super Bowl, man, and winning it's a lot better than losing it.
What did it mean to you guys, to you personally, legacy-wise, to your organization, to
Yeah, I would appreciate it way more. And I mean, I don't want to say that in a bad way. I think when I first got in the league, it all happened so fast. I won the MVP, I won the Super Bowl, and I thought that's just kind of how it went. You were going to play. I listened to what Coach Reed said, and that stuff happens. And now that I've dealt with failure, of losing the AFC Championship, losing the Super Bowl, I know how much hard work and daily grind that it takes. And so I'm just excited to get to that game with the teammates that I have here. And it's a lot of new teammates that haven't been in these Super Bowl games. And so let's bring them along and prepare them so that we can go out and put our best foot forward.
Hey, what worked on the touchdown pass to MVS? What did you see sort of pre-snap? And I think MVS threw up his hand. I'm sure you probably saw that as well.
Yeah, no, it was he was kind of like the third progression in the read. We had a good protection going, and the offensive line gave me a lot of time. And so I wanted to look at Kelsey first, and they sent a double team to him. And then I reset back to the deep cross that we had, and the safety jumped that. And so both those safeties having to double team Travis and jumping that, I just tried to get back to it, and I saw that hand go up. He's like 6'5", and has those long arms. So he threw the hand up, and I couldn't really see in front of him, so I tried to throw a line drive to him, and he was able to make a big play for us and a big part of the game.
Patrick, you went into this game with about as many weapons as you've had in a long time, and then they just kept dropping as it went. What was it like to go through the game and look up and you got Marcus Kemp in the huddle and all that?
Yeah, it was a wild week, man. We got guys back. We lost guys. We had guys kind of questionable or whatever you want to say. And so I was proud of those guys and how they battled, man. Not everybody was feeling 100% out there, and they went out there and battled anyways. But let's try to get those guys back now. We have the extra week, and hopefully we can get them back, as many guys as possible. And the good thing about having a guy like Kemp is he was the guy I was throwing to in scout team and in training camp my first year here. So I've built up that trust in him and know he's going to be in the right spot. And every time he gets in, man, he seems like he made something good happen. So I was happy for him.
Last one.
Patrick, Fred Beach said people didn't realize how hurt you were.
All right. So L'Jarius Sneed.
Huddle and all that.
Yeah, it was a wild week, man. We got guys back. We lost guys. We had guys kind of questionable or whatever you want to say. And so I was proud of those guys and how they battled, man. Not everybody was feeling 100% out there, and they went out there and battled anyways. But let's try to get those guys back now. We have the extra week, and hopefully we can get them back, as many guys as possible. And the good thing about having a guy like Kemp is he was the guy I was throwing to in scout team and in training camp my first year here. So I've built up that trust in him and know he's going to be in the right spot. And every time he gets in, man, he seems like he made something good happen. So I was happy for him.
Last one.
Patrick, Fred Beach said people didn't realize how hurt you were. Your performance tonight adds to a great legacy. Where do you feel like this performance, in your opinion, fits in your
Yeah, I mean, it's hard for me to comment on it. My goal is to win the Super Bowl. And obviously the AFC Championship is something that I'll forever remember, winning that Lamar Hunt trophy at Arrowhead Stadium. But to me, the job's not finished. I mean, all you can think about is that how are you going to get better? I mean, this is a great football team that we're going up against. I think you've seen that the last few weeks and this whole entire season. So I know it's going to take the best that we got, and that's going to take us preparing this next week and the next week after that to go out there and play our best football.
All right, thank you.